Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? It's a nasty beat. One minute. Oh, let's get the shares going. Gotta share this. I'm learning. Alright, let's see if we can get this going right. Alright, guys, we in business. Get this share going. Hold on, guys. Just about there. All right, yo, let's get it. Hold on, this is one last part. Woo! All right, guys, give a little quick shout out to my man Scott Living Global Hires. He's got that broke down this tight beat for me. I get to play this joint every single day. Let me know what you guys think about it. Thank each and every one of you guys for being a part of Coach G's Radical Man Show. Woo! Pretty soon we're going to have like live studio audience, or at least like the fake audience sounds in the back. But for now, we got you, we got me, and we got this. This is episode 1, brothers. So let's go ahead and talk about what does that really mean. We're looking at episode 1 here, Coach G's, Coach G's fumble. That's what it is, episode 1 with a fumble. But we're looking at Coach G's Radical Man Show. What does that mean when we're talking about a Radical Man Show? Well, first and foremost, let's break down the words. You know who Coach G is. What does radical mean? Radical, by definition, it basically means drastically or very different from what is traditionally known about an individual, about a place, or about an event or an idea. That's what radical is about. So what would be radical, right? Like we all know dogs bark, right? Well, it'd be pretty radical if a dog started what? Meowing, right? Again, it goes against what it traditionally knows to do, right? If you have a child and let's just say, worst case scenario, your child brought home straight F's for like 3 years in a row, right? And then one day he brings home, bam, a straight A report card. That's pretty radical, right? That's what we're talking about. What is very different from what is traditionally known about us, about an idea, about a concept, a place, all that kind of stuff. And the first things that we're going to talk about here in episode 1, make sure I got this right for you guys, bam! I want to have a conversation, guys, about these two terms right here. Recovery and addictions. Yeah, they don't always seem like the greatest terms in the world, do they? Like, I hope you guys can see it. What comes to mind when you guys hear about recovery and addictions? Recovery and addiction. Let's go ahead and run through it. I tell you what, when I first started with this program, with the Mindful Habit, and I had none other than Craig Pera. Shout out to my man Craig. But he completely, like, verbally, you know, I think it was almost borderline verbal abuse, but still, he was my coach, he was my guy, he got me over my addiction, he got me through my recovery. But what does all this really mean when we look at these terms? What does this mean? And is this all that we're going to talk about here with the Radical Man Show? Is this just going to be another way for men to hear about how bad your addiction is or how much you need to recover? Let's take a talk. Let's look at that right now. Number one, what comes to mind when you hear about recovery? I just did a group call about this, guys. Couple things come to mind when we hear the word recovery. And I'm going to switch seats over here just a little bit. When you guys hear about recovery, what comes to mind? Huh? I'll tell you what. Shame. Like, think about it. When often have you said, has someone told you, hey, look, I got to go into recovery? Do somebody go into recovery when they're perfectly healthy and they join a gym? It's not really recovery, right? I don't even want to tell everybody. As a matter of fact, recovery, if I'm dealing with recovery, then, it kind of also means that, like, you know what? I'm sick, right? We got to recover from an illness, right? What else comes to mind when we think about recovery? Anything? How about this? A loss. Right? I mean, think about it. What essentially do you got to recover? Things that were taken from you. Things that were lost from you. We don't talk about the things that you probably never had to begin with. Like, this kind of basically means that you at once had all the right behaviors and habits to lead a sexually pure and moral life, right? And all this kind of, however you want to define that, but you lost it. This basically means that when we look at recovery now, that it says that, you know what? Well, you were doing fine, but then you got really sick. So since you got sick, now you got to go into recovery to be able to deal with this situation right now. Right? What else goes into recovery? Recovery, it means that what? Maybe it means what? You did something wrong. I never really hear about recovery when I've done something right. I've never heard that one time when I've gotten like an A- on my test and I was told that I got to go into recovery and get the A. That's not what I remember hearing. Right? So let's kind of flip gears a little bit. What comes to mind when we start talking about addiction? Addictions, guys. What does that mean? I may not spell it right, but I was always told that addiction is a disease. Right? And even more so than it being a disease, it's like what? It's lifelong. So you got a lifelong disease. So you're sick forever. Why go into recovery if it's a lifelong disease? I don't understand that. What else comes to mind when you think about addictions, guys? How about there's shame over here, but even with the addictions, guys, we got some guilt. Right? I mean, let's be honest. Everybody here has probably lost something in the midst of suffering with an addiction or dealing with an addiction of some sort, whether it's been trust, finances, lifestyle that you had, maybe how you get to interact with certain individuals, right? All these things tend to take place when we look at this, and we have a lot of guilt that comes out. If you got disease, it's lifelong. I mean, guys, look. I don't know about y'all, but just looking at this right now, if I found out that I was an addict and I had an addiction, that it's a disease, it's lifelong, I'm feeling guilty about it, and I got to go into recovery. Man, think about that, brothers. For a minute, we got to go into recovery because now I got to deal with the shame, how sick I am, the loss that I've had, because you know what, I was really freaking great at some point in time, right? But no, now all of a sudden that's gone away. And I got to realize how wrong I was. Which means that I was doing all the right things. But how was I doing all the right things when I'm just now finding out that this was the wrong way of thinking? Guys, listen. This is when I want to draw a very definitive line in what it is we're going to be talking about here on the Coach G's Radical Man Show. This isn't about bashing over your head about recovery and about addictions. No part of getting better in your life is going to be about that. This is what this is going to be about, guys. Bear with me here. I know I should have an eraser right now, but just hang with me. what we're simply breaking down here is now going to be about personal development and habits. Man, look, I don't even know about y'all. I mean, look, I'm doing this stuff myself. I knew I was going to write this down, but doesn't that make you just seem a little bit better now? I mean, let's have a conversation now instead of about recovery and addictions. Now, every day, guys, Monday through Friday, we're going to have conversations about personal development and habits. Can I tell you what happens with personal development? Personal development, oh my gosh, it's awesome. Here's what happens with personal development. First thing, the very first thing that happens with any type of personal development. Number one, you get better. Go figure. Go free. You mean to tell me the one thing I got to walk into when I say I want to get some personal development is that I get better? And here's the great part. You can get personal development in any aspect of your life. You want personal development around your careers? It's there. Personal development around finances? Is there. Personal development around your physical health? Is there. Personal development around your relationships? It's there. Guess what? Personal development around sexual health. Oh, did I just say that out loud, guys? Like, don't tell anybody else. But there is personal development to have great sexual health. And no, I'm not talking about always the kind of personal development that makes you last longer and do 1,001 tricks, but the ones that give you a sense of your own personal sexual identity and what that means in your life. How now you get the tools and the insight and the information about how to now channel your sexual energy and think that it ain't just about you just getting off the next opportunity you got. How do you turn your sexual energy into this great polarizing force that now enables you to do so much more? Personal development. Personal development. Here's what's great about us discussing habits. You get to make, right? And again, let's be honest. If you're part of this page, it's because you simply have what? You've made some habits. I'm not saying good or bad right now. That's not the call to make right now. But you've made habits. Well, guess what? Now you'll also get to you realize before, some of you guys, let me scroll back a little bit of time. Look at the first part that we had up here. You can't break an addiction. Let me help you guys understand something else right quick. When we talk about recovery, guys, real quick, going back to recovery, here's what recovery basically says. Here's like the baseline of your life, right? That's the baseline of your life when we're talking about recovery. That's the baseline of your life. This is where everything was kind of just freaking average. And then something happened and your life went crashed out, right? Just completely crashed out. And now all of a sudden, you're trying to figure out, man, what happened with my life? I got to now recover. Well, that means you're only going to do what? Back here. Recovery ain't about getting better. Personal development, it gets you better. It gets you better, right? Hold on one second for me. A little bit of technical issue. I'm learning. We're going to get it down. Don't want to lose you guys. Bear with me for 1 minute, please. We're back in action. Okay, but again, guys, so this is what we're looking at about recovery, guys. Recovery doesn't allow you to get anywhere. Recovery says that you had this apex of life right here, and then something happened that brought you down here, and now you get a chance to go back to just like right there. Now, here's the deal, and this is how recovery has managed to fool so many freaking people, okay? Because you're so low Because recovery has you so low, you're like, oh my God, this is like death. So anything better than this low point makes everything look great. Hence how recovery works. This is why nobody hardly ever goes into personal development. This is why we don't take the time to understand our habits. We're okay saying that, you know what, I don't got to be radical right now. I just got to recover. And brothers, I'm telling you right now, this show's not going to be about you all recovering from death to simply go back to normal. I want you guys coming from death, skyrocketing to radical. All right, I made a big old mess of my board here, but I want you guys to get a chance to see what we're talking about right now. So now, let's dig in this a little bit more. We got a lot to unpack if we're going to talk about personal development, and we're going to talk about habits, how to make a habit, how to break a habit, how to understand, most importantly, hold on, I need to make sure you guys get this. Here's the biggest thing that 99.9% of everybody out there needs to have or needs to know. How to get out. That's what I know. Yeah. Habit land. Guys, that's it. That's it. We're going to talk about how great your habits are. We're going to talk about how wonderful your habits are. We're going to talk about how you can break a habit, how you're going to be able to make a habit. We're going to talk about you getting personally better through the mindful habit system and tons of other ways we're going to introduce you here right through the show. And we're also going to talk about how you get better, not how you get average. And by the way, guys, when we're talking about the ways that you're going to get better, like I'm not in this for you all to just get better with porn. That's not what this is about for me, guys. I want you guys to get better with relationships. Better with your roles. I want you better with your body. Your business. All of it. Guys, this is what personal development is about. You getting better. Handling your issues and making everything else around you skyrocket. And most importantly, out of all of that, guess what is it? Guess what you guys get to retain? Out of every single last piece of that, guys, you guys are going to be able to learn how to keep, in addition to getting out of habit land. I think I got to get a bigger whiteboard or something, right, guys? Something's got to work out here. I need every last one of you guys to now understand and have your identity. I need you to have your identity. So listen, when you guys tune in here every day, 11:15 to 11:45 Eastern Time, AM, guys, we're not here to talk about your recovery. We're not here to talk about your addictions. We're here to talk about your personal development, and we're here to talk about how you're able to kick ass with habits and how you're able to break all of the compulsive, destructive habits that you got. Alright? So now, let's keep this show moving, guys. Here's what I'm going to need from you all. To make this show freaking great, because I'm going to bring the content every single day. Hold on, let me get it together, let me get it together, let me get it together. Bam. Bam. I want questions. Guys, look, seriously, I want no holds barred questions. Like, if you ain't dropped a comment on the video yet, I want you to send me an email. I want you to shoot me a phone call and a text message. I don't care. But let me get your questions. Let me answer everything that you guys have about you being better with your habits, your identity, and breaking free of habit land. So what does that mean? Number one, here's my info. Email me. George@themindfulhabit.com. Call me. It's out there for the whole world to see. But call me and let's talk about it, okay? And most importantly, what I need for you guys to be, when you get on this call, when you look at my videos, when you realize everything that's happening right now, and you say, man, I'm exposed to this, I'm understanding this, I got questions about this. Listen, this will not help you guys unless you gotta be honest. Gotta be freaking honest. And here's the deal. It's not about the exposure and what that's going to do to you. I want you to think about what it's going to hold back from you if you're not going to give me and other brothers and sisters here that are here to help you with the program the information we need to make you better. Again, I'm not here to help you recover from an addiction. I'm not. I'm here to get you personally developed so that you can be better at every avenue of your life. And yes, that's going to include getting over porn, sex addiction, however that's manifested for you in your life. Awesome. Glad to see we got another viewer here. Good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please drop a comment, drop a question, anything. You find something insightful, go ahead and comment on it. You think I'm talking blah, 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 go ahead and comment on it as well. Here's the first thing that I want us to take a look at as we go in here. We're going to talk about personal development. Here's what I want to ask you guys. We got about 10 minutes left here. Guys, easy question, tough answer. How has your manhood changed during this process? And no, your manhood is not simply what you got between your legs. It's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to think about how did you identify yourself as a man before you got to the point of saying that I got to get help to get better in this area of my life. And now that you are accepting this area of your life, how has that changed for you? What does that now mean for your life? Has your manhood now changed? Do you somehow walk on more eggshells? Are you more defiant? Are you more bold? Are you more reserved? Are you less calculated? What has changed for you in this process of just saying, hey, I got to be able to come to terms with this, come to terms with the damage, some of the hurt and shame that goes behind my personal behaviors? How's that changed for you guys? How has that impacted you guys? I want you all to think about that leading into tomorrow. Send me any questions you got, but if you got any questions at all, just about how your manhood has been affected in this process right now. And guys, listen, this is an open call. You're allowed to say what you want because I want to hear the real truth. Look, guys, I want to hear you all tell me that, you know what? I feel like my wife has my balls in her hand ever since this situation came about. Man, you know what? I feel like, that I can't do anything right now. Like, I feel like right now, like, someone has my balls and penis in a vice grip. I don't know what's the right thing to do anymore. I thought I just messed up with A, B, and C. I don't know what I can touch, what I can do. I don't know how to even look at myself as a man anymore. I want to hear that. And guess what? I've experienced it. I've been there. I've had that what the fuck moment. Holy crap, how did I get here moment. And everything in your life gets shattered and rearranged. Let's talk about it, brothers. Listen, that's my time. Again, Coach G, Radical Man Show. Tomorrow, same time. What are we discussing? How has manhood changed during this process? Let's talk about it, brothers. I love you guys. As always, peace and kick ass.